"Excuse me, are you Maya?" The voice was small, confident, and completely unexpected. Maya Shun looked up from her phone, her polite smile already forming, until she realized she wasn't looking at a waiter. She was looking at three identical little boys, no older than 5, standing at her table like they just walked off the set of a storybook. Sandy brown hair, matching navy hoodies, wide, hopeful eyes. "We're here for our dad," the second boy announced, as if that explained everything. "He's really, really sorry he's late. There was a work emergency. That's why he isn't here yet." Maya blinked. Once, twice. This wasn't how blind dates were supposed to go. The cafe was supposed to be quiet, romantic, a chance to see if her friend Rachel was right about this mysterious man who had the warmest smile and deserved someone special. But Rachel never mentioned children, and she definitely never mentioned triplets. What Maya didn't know, what no one could have predicted, was that these 3 little boys were about to rewrite the rules of love, one brave, impossible plan at a time. Before we continue, please tell us where in the world are you tuning in from. We love seeing how far our stories travel. Maya set her phone down slowly, her confusion giving way to something softer. Curiosity maybe, or disbelief. "I'm sorry. Did you say your dad sent you?" The first boy nodded enthusiastically, his hair bouncing. "Well, not exactly. He doesn't know we're here yet. But he's coming," the second chimed in. "We promise." The third smiled sweetly. "Can we sit with you? We've been waiting to meet you all week." Maya glanced around the cafe. A few patrons had started to notice. An older woman smiled knowingly. A barista peeked over the counter, clearly entertained. "Okay," Maya said slowly, gesturing to the empty chairs. "I think you'd better explain." The triplets climbed into the seats across from her, moving with a synchronized ease that only siblings, especially triplets, could manage. "I'm Owen." He extended a tiny hand like a seasoned businessman. "This is Finn, and that's Leo. We're 5, Finn added proudly. "And we're really good at keeping secrets," Leo whispered conspiratorially. "Except this one. Dad's going to find out soon." Maya couldn't help it. She laughed. A real surprised laugh that broke through the confusion. "All right, gentlemen, start from the beginning. How do you know I'd be here?" Owen leaned forward, his expression serious. "We heard Dad talking on the phone with Aunt Rachel. He said he was going to meet someone named Maya at Pinewood Cafe at 7 o'clock. He sounded nervous." "Really nervous," Finn emphasized. "He kept checking his watch." Leo nodded sagely. "And he never worries about time." That's how we knew it was important. Maya's heart did a little flip. She didn't know whether to feel charmed or concerned. "And you decided to come here instead of him." "Not instead. Before he had to go to work. Something broke and he had to fix it. But we didn't want you to think he forgot about you because he didn't," Finn insisted. "He was so excited this morning. He even burned the eggs because he wasn't paying attention." "He always burns eggs," Leo added matter-of-factly. "But today was worse." Maya pressed her hand to her mouth, trying not to laugh again. These children were disarming in a way she hadn't expected. Honest, earnest, clearly adored. "So you convinced your babysitter to bring you here?" The triplets exchanged a look. "We didn't convince her," Owen said carefully. "We may have told her that Dad said it was okay." "Which he will," Finn added quickly. "Once he knows it worked." "Once? What worked?" Maya asked, though she was beginning to understand. Leo smiled, a gap-toothed grin full of mischief and hope. "Our plan to make sure Dad doesn't give up on being happy." Maya leaned back in her chair, studying the 3 little faces across from her. They were watching her with an intensity that was both amusing and touching, like they were waiting for her verdict on something far more important than a first date. "Your dad," Maya began slowly. "Does he know you're here right now?" 3 heads shook in unison. "Is he going to be upset?" Owen considered this. "Maybe a little, but not for long. Dad doesn't stay mad at us. He just gets this look. The 'I love you, but please don't do that again' look." And then he hugs us, Leo finished. Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. She didn't know this Marcus Webb yet, but she was already learning about him through the eyes of his sons. A man who didn't stay angry, who hugged instead of yelled, who raised 3 confident, loving, brave little boys on his own. Rachel hadn't mentioned he was a single parent. But now, sitting across from these children, Maya realized why. Rachel knew she'd hesitate, she'd overthink. She'd built walls around her heart after her engagement fell apart, and the last thing she thought she wanted was to step into someone else's complicated life. But walls, she was learning, had a hard time standing up to 5-year-olds with matching hoodies. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said gently. "Anything," Owen said. "Why is this so important to you? Why go through all this trouble?" The triplets went quiet. It was Finn who spoke first, his voice softer now. "Because Dad's been sad for a really long time. He doesn't think we notice, but we do." Owen's eyes shimmered slightly. "He smiles when he's with us, but when he thinks we're not looking, he looks lonely." Maya's throat tightened. She'd been lonely too. She knew that look. "He takes care of us. He makes breakfast even when he burns it. He helps with homework. He reads us bedtime stories. He's the best dad in the whole world. But he never does anything for himself," Leo said quietly. "Grandma says he's scared." "Scared of what?" Maya asked, though she thought she knew the answer. "Of getting hurt again," Owen whispered. Maya closed her eyes briefly. There it was, the missing piece. "Your mom," she said carefully, not wanting to overstep. "Is she?" "She's an actress," Owen said simply. "She's really famous now. We see her on TV sometimes." "She had big dreams," Finn explained, his tone neither bitter nor sad, just factual, the way children accept truths they can't change. "Dad says she loved us, but she loved acting more, and that's okay. People are allowed to choose." Maya's heart broke and mended in the same breath. These children had been abandoned by their mother, and yet they spoke without resentment. They'd learned grace from their father, even in the face of loss. "Dad says we're enough," Owen added. "That he doesn't need anyone else, but we think he's wrong." "He deserves someone who stays," Finn said firmly. Leo reached across the table and touched Maya's hand, his small fingers warm. "Aunt Rachel says you're really nice and smart and kind. She says you'd be perfect." Maya blinked back the sudden sting in her eyes. She hadn't expected any of this. "I don't know if I'm perfect," she said honestly. "But I'd like to meet your dad the real way when he's ready." "He's ready," all 3 said at once. "He just doesn't know it yet," Owen added with a knowing smile. 20 minutes later, the triplets had ordered hot chocolate, Maya's treat, and were busy telling her stories. "One time Dad tried to teach us to tie our shoes," Finn giggled. "It took forever." "We kept tying them together," Leo corrected, and they all dissolved into laughter. Maya found herself laughing too, the sound easy and unguarded. She hadn't felt this light in months, maybe years. "What about you?" Owen asked suddenly, tilting his head. "Do you have kids?" The question landed softly, but it still stung. "No," Maya said, her smile dimming a fraction. "I don't. Do you want them?" Finn asked, his curiosity innocent. Maya hesitated. This wasn't first date conversation. This wasn't even second or third date conversation. But these weren't ordinary circumstances, and these weren't ordinary children. "I did," she admitted quietly. "I always thought I would. But sometimes life doesn't work out the way we plan. Why not?" Leo asked. Maya took a breath. "I was engaged once. We were going to get married, start a family, but he changed his mind. And then I found out that having kids might be difficult for me. The doctor said it's not impossible, but it's not likely either." The triplets absorbed this with the solemnity of much older souls. "That's sad," Owen said softly. "Yeah," Maya agreed. "It was, but I've made peace with it mostly." Finn reached out and patted her hand. "Maybe you don't need to have kids. Maybe you just need to find some like us," Leo added hopefully. Maya's breath caught. Before Maya could respond, Before she could even process the enormity of what these three little boys were offering, the door to the cafe swung open. A man stood in the doorway, breathless and wide-eyed, his tie askew and his dark hair slightly disheveled. His gaze swept the room, landing on the table in the corner, on three brown heads bent over hot chocolate, and on the woman sitting across from them, her expression somewhere between shocked and enchanted. "Oh no," Owen whispered. "He's here," Finn breathed. Leo grinned. Mission accomplished. Marcus Webb had experienced many kinds of panic in his 33 years. The panic of hearing three newborns crying at once. The panic of realizing his wife had walked out the door and wasn't coming back. The panic of a work deadline, a sick child, a lost shoe 5 minutes before school. But this was a new level entirely. He'd been in the middle of a crisis at the firm, a network failure that threatened to wipe out a week's worth of data, when his phone buzzed once, twice, 7 times. The babysitter's messages had grown progressively more frantic. "Mr. Webb, the boys are insisting I take them somewhere. They said you approved it. Mr. Webb, we're at Pinewood Cafe. I think you should come." His heart had dropped into his stomach. Pinewood Cafe, the place where he was supposed to meet Maya, the date he had already missed because of work. He'd sprinted out of the office, ignoring his assistant's protests, and driven faster than he should have. And now here he was, standing in the doorway staring at the most mortifying and inexplicably beautiful scene he'd ever witnessed. His sons, his 3 mischievous, brilliant, impossible sons, sitting with the woman he was supposed to impress, looking for all the world like they belonged there. And Maya, because it had to be Maya, even though he'd only seen one photo, was smiling. Not the polite, strained smile of someone trapped in an awkward situation. A real smile, warm and genuine and slightly amused. "Hi, Dad," Leo called out, waving. The entire cafe turned to look at him. Marcus forced his legs to move, crossing the space in what felt like slow motion. When he reached the table, he didn't know whether to apologize first or collapse from embarrassment. "I am so sorry. I had no idea they were coming here. I was at work and there was an emergency." And Maya held up a hand, her eyes twinkling. "You must be the man who stood me up." Marcus winced. "Not intentionally. I swear I was going to call, but everything happened so fast." "Dad," Owen interrupted gently. "She's not mad." "We explained everything," Finn added. "And she likes us," Leo said proudly. Marcus looked at Maya, his expression somewhere between hopeful and horrified. "I really am sorry. This is not how I wanted this to go." Maya's smile softened. "How did you want it to go?" "I don't know," Marcus admitted, running a hand through his hair. "Less chaotic, more normal. Normal is overrated," Maya said. And there was something in her voice, a hint of shared understanding of someone who'd also learned that life rarely went according to plan. "Besides, your sons are excellent company. They've been telling me all about you." "Oh no," Marcus muttered. "Don't worry," Maya laughed. "Mostly good things except for the eggs." The triplets giggled. Marcus closed his eyes briefly, then opened them to find Maya still smiling at him. Not with pity, not with judgment, just warmth. "Would you like to sit?" she offered. "I should probably take them home," though he didn't sound convinced. "Or," Owen said quickly, "Maya could come have dinner with us." "That way, you still get your date," Finn reasoned. "And we get to help," Leo finished. "Boys," Marcus said, his tone gentle but firm. "Maya probably has plans. We can't just—" "I don't," Maya interrupted. "Have plans, I mean." Marcus stared at her. "I came here to meet someone," she continued, her gaze holding his, "and technically, I did. 3 someones, actually. So if the invitation still stands, I'd love to come to dinner." The triplets erupted in cheers. Marcus's breath caught. For the first time in 3 years, the weight pressing against his ribs didn't feel quite so heavy. "Okay," he said softly. "Okay, let's go home." Marcus's house was exactly what Maya expected and nothing like she imagined. It was cozy without being cluttered. lived in without being messy. The walls were covered with children's artwork, marker drawings of spaceships and dinosaurs, and stick figure families. The fridge held a calendar covered in colorful magnets and reminders. Soccer practice, Leo's dentist, parent-teacher conference, date with Maya. Maya blushed when she spotted it, her name written in Marcus's careful handwriting, tucked between the ordinary rhythms of their life. He'd made space for her there among the doctor's appointments and school pickups, like she was already woven into the fabric of their days. The thought made her chest feel too full and too light all at once. It was a home built by a single father doing his best. And that best, Maya realized, was pretty extraordinary. "Welcome to our fortress," Owen announced, spreading his arms dramatically. "It's not actually a fortress," Finn clarified. "But we pretend." "Every house is a fortress if you love the people in it," Leo said wisely. Marcus shot Maya an apologetic look. "They've been reading a lot of adventure books." "I love adventure books," Maya said, and meant it. The boys dragged her on a tour while Marcus disappeared into the kitchen. They showed her their room, 3 beds arranged in a U-shape, each with different colored blankets. They showed her their Lego corner, their toy chest, the bookshelf overflowing with stories. And they showed her pictures. "That's us when we were babies." Owen pointed to a frame on the hallway wall. "Dad says we were very loud and very small." In the photo, a younger Marcus held 3 tiny bundles, his expression a mixture of terror and overwhelming love. There were other pictures, too. Marcus and the boys at the park, at the beach, birthday parties, Halloween costumes. But there was one person conspicuously absent from every frame. "Your mom," Maya said carefully. "Do you remember her?" "Not really," Owen admitted. "We were really little when she left. Dad keeps one picture of her in his room. He says it's important we know what she looks like, even if we don't see her," Leo added quietly. Maya's heart ached for them. And for Marcus, who'd been left to pick up the pieces alone. "He must love you very much," Maya said. "He does," Owen said confidently. "That's why we want him to be happy." "He is happy," Finn insisted. "But he could be happier with you," Leo said, looking up at Maya with those impossibly hopeful eyes. Maya knelt down to their level, her voice gentle but honest. "I can't promise anything, sweetheart. Sometimes grown-ups need time to figure things out. But you like him, right?" Owen pressed. Maya thought about the man in the kitchen, frantically trying to cook dinner for 5. The man who'd raised 3 incredible sons on his own. The man who still kept a picture of the woman who'd left him because he wanted his children to know their mother. "I think," Maya said slowly, "your dad is one of the good ones." The triplets beamed. "Dinner's ready," Marcus called from the kitchen. "Or at least it's edible." Dinner was a beautiful disaster. The pasta was slightly overcooked. The garlic bread was unevenly toasted. The salad was mostly just lettuce, but the company was perfect. The triplets talked over each other, telling stories and asking Maya a million questions. Marcus interjected with corrections and apologies, his ears pink with embarrassment, and Maya laughed. Really laughed, the kind of laughter that comes from joy, not politeness. "So what do you do?" Marcus asked during a brief lull, seizing the chance for actual conversation. "I'm a director," Maya said. "I run a nonprofit that helps underprivileged kids access music education." "That's amazing," Marcus said, genuine admiration in his voice. "It's fulfilling," Maya agreed. "I always wanted to make a difference, and since I couldn't have kids of my own," she stopped, realizing what she'd said. The table went quiet. "Sorry," Maya said quickly. "That's not really dinner conversation." "We already know," Owen said gently. "You told us at the cafe." Marcus looked between Maya and his sons, understanding dawning. "You told them?" "They asked," Maya said with a small smile. "And I'm not good at lying to children." Marcus's expression softened. "I'm sorry." "That must have been hard." "It was," Maya admitted. "My fiancé left when he found out. He said it wasn't what he signed up for." Marcus's jaw tightened, a flash of anger crossing his face. "He sounds like a jerk." "Dad," all 3 boys gasped in unison. No bad words, Owen reminded him, wagging his tiny finger. That's our family rule, Finn added seriously. Even when people deserve it, Leo chimed in, though he nodded in agreement with his father's sentiment. Marcus held up his hands in surrender, his ears turning slightly pink. You're right. I'm sorry, boys. Maya's heart swelled watching the exchange. These little boys holding their father accountable with such innocent conviction. And Marcus accepting the correction with grace and a sheepish smile. It's okay, Maya said, her voice soft with emotion, and they're right. But between us adults, he kind of was. Marcus gave her a knowing look that said, I'm glad you see it too. He taught me something important though, Maya said, her gaze moving around the table. What? Leo asked, leaning forward with curiosity. That family isn't just about biology, Maya said, looking at each face around the table. It's about love and showing up and choosing each other every day. She looked at Marcus and something passed between them, an understanding, a recognition of shared wounds that had started to heal. Yeah, Marcus said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. It is. After dinner, the boys insisted on showing Maya their bedtime routine. Marcus tried to protest. She doesn't need to see the chaos. But Maya waved him off. She watched as Marcus read them a story, his voice doing different characters, making them giggle. She watched as he kissed each forehead, tucking blankets with practiced ease. Love you, Dad, they chorused. Love you more, he replied the same way he probably did every night. When he finally emerged, he found Maya standing in the living room, looking at the photos on the wall. Thank you, he said quietly. For being so kind to them, you didn't have to stay. I wanted to, Maya said honestly. Marcus, your sons are incredible. You've done an amazing job. I've done my best, he said. But some days, I wonder if it's enough. It's more than enough, Maya assured him. They're brave and kind and full of love. They got that from you. Marcus looked away, his jaw working. Their mother left when they were 6 months old. She was a rising actress. Victoria Kane. You might have heard of her. Maya had, everyone had. Victoria Kane was everywhere these days. Magazines, movies, award shows. She never wanted children, Marcus continued, his voice low. But birth control failed, and suddenly she was pregnant with triplets. She tried to make it work, but when they were 6 months old, she got a call about an audition, a big one, career-changing, and the boys were sick. I was at work. She had to choose. And she chose the audition, Maya finished softly. She said she'd send money, visit, but after a year, even the calls stopped. Marcus's hands clenched. I don't resent her for choosing her dream, but I resent her for making them feel like they weren't enough. They don't feel that way. They know they're loved. Because of you, Marcus said. I made sure of that, but I've been terrified of bringing anyone into their lives. What if I choose wrong? What if someone else leaves and breaks their hearts? Marcus, Maya said, stepping closer. I can't promise I won't make mistakes, but I can promise I know what it feels like to be left. And I'd never do that to someone else. He met her eyes, and for the first time all night, she saw the weight he carried, the fear, the hope. Rachel was right, he said. You are special. So are you, Maya whispered. They stood there, two people who'd been broken in different ways, recognizing something in each other that felt like the beginning of healing. Would you like to do this again properly? A real date? I'd love that, but fair warning, I might insist your sons come along sometimes. They're kind of the best part of the package. Marcus laughed, and it was the sound of a man remembering what hope felt like. One date turned into 2, then 5, then too many to count. Maya started showing up to soccer games, cheering louder than anyone else on the sidelines. She learned that Finn loved building things, that Owen was obsessed with books about oceans, and that Leo collected interesting rocks he found on the playground. Marcus started calling her after the boys went to bed, just to talk about work, about fears, about the small, ordinary things that made up a life. They asked about you today, he said one night, his voice soft through the phone. What did they ask? If you were going to be their new mom. Silence stretched between them. Not uncomfortable, just heavy with possibility. What did you tell them? Maya asked carefully. I told them that's not how it works, that these things take time. But honestly, I hope the answer is yes someday. Maya's heart squeezed, me too. By December, she was spending more time at Marcus's house than her own apartment. She'd help with homework while he cooked dinner. She'd read bedtime stories when he was running late from work. She'd become part of their routine without either of them quite noticing when it happened. One evening, as they decorated the Christmas tree, Leo tugged on Maya's sleeve. Can you come to our school concert? Dad always comes alone, and we want you there too. Maya looked at Marcus, who was untangling lights with Finn and Owen. He caught her eye and smiled, a real smile that reached all the way to his eyes. I'd love to, Maya said. The night of the concert, Maya sat beside Marcus in the crowded auditorium. When the triplets took the stage in their reindeer costumes, Marcus's hand found hers. He didn't let go, even after the final song ended. In the parking lot afterward, as the boys ran ahead to the car, Marcus stopped. Thank you, he said. For what? For staying, for showing up, for not running when things got complicated. Maya squeezed his hand. Marcus, this isn't complicated. This is exactly where I want to be. He kissed her then, soft and sure, under the glow of Christmas lights strung across the school entrance. From the car, 3 small voices erupted in cheers. The months that followed were filled with quiet moments that built something stronger than passion. They built partnership. Maya learned Marcus took his coffee black and hated mornings. Marcus learned Maya sang off-key in the car and cried at happy endings. They had their first fight when Marcus canceled date night because of work again. Maya told him he couldn't keep putting himself last. Marcus admitted he was afraid that if he stopped moving, stopped working, he'd remember how lonely he'd been. You're not alone anymore, Maya said firmly. Let me carry some of it with you, and slowly, carefully, he did. By spring, the boys had stopped asking when Maya would visit. They'd started asking when she was coming home. And one evening, as Maya helped Leo with his math homework, while Marcus made dinner and Owen and Finn argued over what movie to watch, she realized something. She was already home. 1 year later, the same cafe looked different. Twinkling lights hung from the ceiling. Mistletoe dangled over doorways. The smell of cinnamon and pine filled the air. Maya walked in, her heart already racing. Rachel had texted her to meet at Pinewood at 7, claiming it was important. She'd been cryptic, refusing to elaborate. But when Maya pushed through the door, she understood. Marcus stood near their old table, dressed in a suit, his hands fidgeting nervously. And beside him, 3 little boys in matching navy sweaters, holding a sign. Say yes, Maya. Maya's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes filling with tears. Surprise, the triplets yelled in unison. Marcus laughed nervously, stepping forward. The cafe fell silent. Other patrons paused, recognizing the moment for what it was. Maya, Marcus began, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. A year ago, I was terrified. Terrified of trying again, of failing again, of letting someone in who might leave. But Dad didn't fail, Owen whispered loudly. Finn hissed. Maya laughed through her tears. Marcus dropped to one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. You didn't just accept me. You accepted all of us. You showed up to soccer games and bedtime stories. You held me when I doubted myself. You became the person I didn't know I needed. And we love you, Leo added. So much, Owen agreed. So much, Finn emphasized. Marcus opened the box, revealing a simple, elegant ring. Maya-chun, will you marry me? Will you let us be your family? The cafe held its breath. Maya looked at Marcus, the man who taught her that broken hearts could still love, then at Owen, Finn, and Leo, the 3 little boys who'd barged into her life and refused to let her hide. Yes, she whispered, then louder. Yes. The cafe erupted in applause. Marcus stood, sliding the ring on her finger, and pulled her into a kiss. The triplets swarmed them, wrapping their arms around their legs. "We're getting married," Owen shouted. "We're going to be a real family," Finn squealed. "I told you the plan would work," Leo said smugly. Outside, snow began to fall, soft and steady, blanketing the world in quiet promise. Maya pulled back from Marcus, her forehead resting against his. "I can't have biological children," she reminded him softly. "I know," Marcus said, gesturing to the 3 little boys beaming up at them. "But you already have these 3, and they already have you." Owen tugged on Maya's dress. "Can we call you Mom now?" Maya's breath hitched. She knelt down, gathering all 3 boys into her arms. "If you want to," she whispered. "We want to," they said together. And just like that, Maya Chun, who'd thought her story had ended, realized it was only just beginning. Because love, she learned, doesn't always arrive the way you expect. Sometimes it arrives in matching navy hoodies, carried by 3 little boys brave enough to believe their broken-hearted father deserved a second chance. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it stays. Friends, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Soul Lift Stories for more heartwarming tales. Drop a heart in the comments if you believe in second chances, and share this with someone who needs to remember that family is built on love, not just biology.